All right, let's get into it. Today we're diving into an incredible story about how one company, facing what looked like impossible odds, didn't just build a car, they ended up building an entire industry for a nation. And hidden inside their story is a blueprint, a real-world plan for turning your biggest weaknesses into your greatest strengths. This is going to be good.
So, let me ask you this right off the bat. What if your biggest weakness was actually your greatest strength? I know, it sounds a little out there, right? But it's the core idea we're going to unpack. We're about to see how flipping limitations on their head isn't just some clever saying. It's a repeatable strategy, a playbook for making the impossible happen.
So our story kicks off with a mission that sounds simple enough on paper, but in reality, it was almost impossible. We're talking about a company called Maruti, and their goal was to build a car for the people of India. But this was the early 1980s, and the landscape they were staring at was, well, daunting is putting it mildly.
I mean, just picture this. On one side, you've got this mountain of obstacles, hardly any resources, unbelievable bureaucratic red tape, and just deep skepticism about their plan to partner with Japan's Suzuki. But on the other side, the vision was just so simple and powerful: make a quality car that an entire nation could afford. The gap between that reality and that dream, it just seemed impossibly wide.
So, the big question is, how on earth did they bridge that gap? Well, it all boiled down to one single, kind of counterintuitive but absolutely game-changing philosophy. Instead of seeing all those problems as roadblocks, they started seeing them as the raw material for innovation.
This idea has a name. It's called the constraint to opportunity mindset. And what it really means is you fundamentally change how you look at problems. A lack of money isn't a dead end. No, it's a trigger that forces you to invent a smarter, more efficient process. Lousy infrastructure isn't just a headache, it's a fantastic reason to design a tougher, more durable product. You see? This mindset forces you, it corners you, into finding these brilliant, low-cost, high-impact solutions you would have never thought of otherwise.
And you know, this whole philosophy was just perfectly captured by R.C. Bhargava, who was the chairman of Maruti Suzuki. He basically said, look, you don't win by just copying what works somewhere else. Real, lasting success comes from innovating inside the unique challenges you've got right here, right now. It's not about the hand you're dealt, it's about how you play it.
Okay, so that's the big idea, the mindset. But that's the what. How about the how? How do you actually put this into practice? Well, Maruti Suzuki didn't just have a philosophy. They built an actionable blueprint that turns this whole idea into a step-by-step strategy. Let's break it down. So here it is, their action plan, broken down into 6 key pillars. It all starts with the foundation, the mindset we just talked about. That's step 1. Then, built on top of that, is a relentless focus on the customer. For them, quality and affordability weren't just goals, they were non-negotiable. Next, you have collaboration. This was about masterfully blending Suzuki's global manufacturing genius with local Indian ingenuity. Then we get to the bottom row, which is all about building for the long haul. You have to build systems that can scale and last, no shortcuts. That is supported by indigenization, and this part is so crucial. Instead of importing everything, they built a local supply chain from scratch. That move directly attacked their resource problem and gave them control over cost and quality. And what holds it all together? Leadership by example, driving that long-term vision with unwavering discipline year after year.
So what happens when you take a blueprint like that and apply it with that kind of discipline for decades? Well, the result is so much bigger than just one successful company. It becomes this powerful engine that transforms an entire ecosystem.
And that right there is the key to their whole legacy. They weren't just putting cars together on an assembly line. They were literally putting together the foundations of a modern automotive industry for an entire country.
I mean, just think about the ripple effect here. Their intense focus on finding local suppliers, it created a brand new supply chain out of thin air, launching thousands of new businesses. And the world-class quality standards they insisted on, those didn't just stay inside their factory walls. Those ideas, those practices, they spread across the entire manufacturing sector, lifting everybody up. It's the ultimate proof that one single-minded company can actually become a blueprint for building a nation's capabilities.
So the most important point is that this story, while it's rooted in the car industry, it offers a totally universal lesson. It gives us a framework, a real-world guide for tackling any major challenge, whether that's in your business, in policy, or even in your own personal goals.
You know, if there's one thing you walk away with from all this, it should be this. The road from impossible to possible is paved with 3 things: a crystal clear vision, the adaptability to see opportunity where others see constraints, and the relentless, disciplined execution to see it all the way through.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Every single great achievement in history started out as a problem that seemed impossible to solve. You now have the blueprint. You've seen how it works. The only question left is, what impossible problem are you going to solve?